Hi everybody, it's Donna from donnasdreamworks.blogspot.com, and I have a couple of cards to show you today that I made this past week, as well as making one of them together. Hold on, I need to adjust my lighting just a little bit. Okay, I think that's better. These cards are to help replenish my stash. I do a lot of craft shows in the fall and winter months, and birthday cards are the biggest seller, so I wanted to get ahead with them. The first one is a stamped card. Two of them are a stamped card, and one is just created from paper. As I mentioned earlier in my blog, I have quite a stamp collection, so I thought I'd better use some. I've been using my Cricut so much I haven't been stamping. This one is a birthday card. Simply the outside says happy birthday, the inside says you're so nice. I said it twice. Very simple, very nice. And the directions for the cuts are on the blog at donnasdreamworks.blogspot.com. The second card on there is a card that is not my inspiration, is absolutely somebody else's, and was taken really from the cover of Card Maker magazine, the May issue of 2011. And on page 51 are all the directions. It's just a little different, but it's really a cute card. Could lend itself to anniversary or birthday, and you can put a sentiment on the inside, and then it just slides in the pocket, thus so, and the flowers come over the top. Okay, pretty. And the last card I just made a few minutes ago, and this is a little bit more of a vintage look to it. This is such a pretty stamp. It is from Stamping Up, 2002, I believe it says on here. And this happens to be a stamp I picked up at a yard sale. It's kind of intricate, the stamp, so I use a VersaFine ink because it does get in all of these little nooks and crannies well. But it is such a pretty stamp, and it lends itself to more of a vintage look on the card, so that's what I've tried to accomplish here. And I will show you just how I did it. I started with a base card of craft colored cardstock, regular A2 size. That's 11 inches cut by 4 1/4 and then scored at 5 1/2. My mat of paper is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. Then I have a strip here that is 1.5 inches. This is actually the other side of this paper, so it coordinates well. 1.5 inches, and then I used a Martha Stewart edge punch on it. And then I have my ribbon, and my ribbon, I have had fun lately using the oh yes, right, this kind of ribbon. I can't think of the name of it right now, but anyway, it seems it's pretty and feminine looking, and but you do have to remember that you do need to burn the ends of this kind of ribbon, because it will fray very easily. I have already done that because I have a fan going over my head, so that's not good. So we're going to take it off the block, and the bow is going to be over to the right, so I'm just going to leave a little bit here and put it on the paper. And you know, I have forgotten one step, and that is the base of this. So let's just cut a piece now. Oh, I think I'll make it about 1 1/2. Yes, I use my Frisker's cutter upside down. And there you go. There you go. So we'll just adhere that. Yeah, okay, now we'll attach the bow. And this is a cute little cheater method that Janice over on Cricketology showed me, or us, or anybody that wants to look at it, about using the acrylic block to tie the bow and then just cutting it and putting it on your card. And the reason it's nice is because it allows you to pull it nice and tight and get a nice bow. And that does not want to lay right. See if I can do it that way. Okay. Now I still have considerably more ribbon than I need, so we'll just cut a little off. Okay, and there you go, and that just gets adhered right on here. Okay, and then this is going to be adhered onto the base. And I don't have anything inside yet, so we don't have to worry about the orientation quite so much. There we go. That's the pretty, that's the base. Okay, and then next we have our stamp, and I'm going to attempt to get it colored, and I don't want to make this thing too long. It's not too difficult to color because you really kind of just go in and out of these little flowers, and on the middle you really just make some dots because the flowers are so small that you really can't get inside of them. Oh, my computer turned off. And let's see, we'll give her a pink headband. Okay. Oops, a few more little flowers in here. These stamps are so pretty, but they do take time when you have to color them. I did not use a StazOn ink, so I really can't do any blending particularly, because this ink will run if I do that. In fact, I've had occasions where if you get a marker that's particularly juicy, should we say, the ink would run. But this seems to be working pretty good. Okay. And I have a lot of Stampin' Up! Stamps, and I actually didn't have to buy most of them. I've gotten a lot from my daughter-in-law, who was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator at one time and has hundreds and hundreds of these stamps, and every so often she goes through her stash and thins them out and gives me the ones that she's not going to be using any longer. So it's really been nice. I've been able to generate quite a few in my collection. I have bought some also, and I also look around at yard sales, and especially in the paper when they say craft items. But you know, there's a lot of us that show up for that. These are, most of these are Tombow markers. Some of them might be Marvy. I have some of each. One of these days I'm going to learn how to use Copic markers, but for now I'm really satisfied with the Tombow. I don't do, you know, with the Cricut and doing that kind of work too, I don't do an overabundance of coloring, so it's been okay. Okay, and what I did for her shirt is just to use a white gel pen because I just wanted it to be like a nice white area. And you'll notice that, you know, there's some areas that aren't totally colored. It doesn't really matter, that you're just trying to add some interest to the picture. Now, I have this pencil. It's one of my watercolor pencils, and I don't know, a soft peach is what the color is. It is the only thing I've found so far that I like for the skin tones. I haven't found a marker. They always seem to be too heavy for the skin tones. So I just pull out my trusty pencil and go right along that way. And somebody wants me on my phone. Gee, popular today. Okay, and let's give this little girl some brown here. And again, you're not coloring it in totally, you're just giving a hint of color. So there you go. And that again is mounted on a piece of scrap of craft cardstock. And the way I do it is I just mount it on the cardstock, and I'm just going to use my Tombow marker. It's quicker. It is if I don't drop it on the floor. Okay, and then I can take my scissors, and these are my handy dandy hairdressing scissors from 100 years ago, and the reason I like them sometimes is they have a very long straight blade, so it's easier to get a straight cut. And there you go. So there she is, all colored, and I'm just going to mount her on the card like thus with some of my homemade mounting tape, and that will be it. There you go. So that's the cards I've been working on. I did use the happy birthday sentiment, and I will add it to the top. I don't want to make this video so long it won't post. So I'm going to add that up here in the corner. And there you go with the cards that I've made. Getting my stash built up for the fair. See you later. Have a great time. Play nice.